All right, so now we are at rule number 3. And if you're taking notes, I would asterisk rule number 3 as the most important of the rules to master. One of them is that it can affect the structure of the sentence a lot. And the other thing is it's one of the toughest rules. It's the one that's a little harder to remember and a little harder to get into practice using correctly. So remember, this, if I had to pick, is the most important rule of all of them to work on. So, rule number 3, commas to join independent clauses. So, when you are using one of the conjunctions, one of the FANBOYS conjunctions, and it's joining two independent clauses, you have to have a comma in front of that conjunction. So, anytime you see one of the FANBOYS and it's connecting two main clauses, independent clauses, complete sentences, however you want to say it, you need to have a comma if both of them are independent clauses. So let's go over what the FANBOYS are again. For, and, nor, but, or, yet, so. These are the conjunctions that have that special rule about commas applied to it. And so let's look at the examples. Harrison thought that researching would be the easy part of his project, comma, but it turned out to be the hardest. So whenever you see one of these FANBOY conjunctions, you zero in on it, and then you read the part before it. Harrison thought that researching would be the easy part of his project. Harrison is the subject. Thought is the verb. That researching it would be the easy part of his project completes the thought. So yes, that is an independent clause. So now let's look after the conjunction. It turned out to be the hardest. It is the subject. Turned is the verb. Out to be the hardest completes the thought. So there are two independent clauses. That means it needs that comma before the but. Example number 2. I feel exhausted already, comma, and tomorrow is just Tuesday. So if you zero in on the and you read before the and you read after the and, you will see that both of them are independent clauses. In other words, they are complete sentences that could stand alone. So yes, I need the comma before the and. And the third example, Karen's sinus medication makes her sleepy, comma, so she avoids taking it during the day. So Karen's sinus medication makes her sleepy. Subject, verb, complete thought. She avoids taking it during the day. Subject, verb, complete thought. So yes, the comma goes after. Like I said, if one of them happens to be a dependent clause and it's missing, some element of making it a complete sentence or independent clause, if you put the conjunction to connect the two, there is no comma in that case. All right, so now I'd like you to work on practice number 3. This is a good time to pause the video. Go ahead and do the exercise, and when you're ready, come back and resume it. All right, practice number 3. The weeds were tall and the mower died whenever Helen tried to cut through them. So you zero in on that FANBOY conjunction, and then you read before it. The weeds were tall. So you have a subject, weeds, the verb were, complete thought with tall. So that is an independent clause. So now we'll look after the and. The mower died whenever Ellen tried to cut through them. Mower is the subject. Died is the verb. Whenever Helen tried to cut through them completes the thought. So the comma goes after the word tall. Number 2. The upholstery was worn and faded, but the couch was still comfortable. So we look before the but, and we look after the but, read through it, and we determine that they're two independent clauses, and the comma goes after faded. Number 3. Leo received a credit card in the mail, but did not remember requesting it. So you're going to zero in on the word but, and you're going to read before it, and you're going to read after it, and hopefully you recognized did not remember requesting it as a dependent clause because it's missing a subject. So there is no comma in this sentence. Number 4, Lorenzo was studying, so he let the answering machine pick up his calls. Look before the word so, and you'll determine that there's 2 independent clauses, so the comma goes after the word studying. Number 5, you can pay now or you can take up to 90 days to pay on our easy credit plan, says the sales clerk. And it came up with the answer right away, but if you had zeroed in on the word or, you would read you can pay now, and then afterwards you can take up to 90 days to pay on our easy credit plan. So even though it's in quotation marks, you parse it out and you determine 2 independent clauses and you put the comma after the word now. Again, like I told you, this is one of the most important ones, the one that I would like you to concentrate on this semester and master.